Welcome back for round 2 of this week's Trips and Traps. Andy Serling, Dan Silver, and we're going to go through 3 stakes that were run this past Saturday at Belmont.
Yeah, we've got the all-stakes Trips and Traps edition here. And I'm not sure if there are a lot of horses really to look out for moving forward, but we've got some interesting trips to look at, some hidden angles, and, some things to watch out for in the future.
Yeah, I don't think there's anybody specifically we're dying to bet on any of these races, but want to talk a little about some of the race dynamics. And we're going to first take a look at the Jamaica and number 7, Roman Tiger, who Dan wants to keep an eye on him, and there he is on the outside here.
Going into the race, I thought Roman Tiger was clearly the third best horse in this race, lightly raced. He'd beaten a couple of the horses in here before. He broke from the outside. He's kind of a horse that likes to be somewhat near the lead. And, we're going to see as he's moving around the turn, he's going to settle in here too wide. He's pretty much going to get a perfect trip for most of the race behind Thou Swell, who went out to the lead. And what we're going to watch out for here is the inside horse in 4th, Wesley. He's got Edgar Prado on, and he made a huge premature move, Wesley did, that forced Roman Tiger, who's getting a great trip right now, but he made this move that forced Roman Tiger to make a big move for the lead way too early. And I thought that it really compromised Roman Tiger's chances to win this race, or at least finish 3rd.
Yeah, he wasn't winning this race. Nobody was being the top 2 finishers in this race, and I don't think you're trying to suggest
No, I would agree with that.
But it's something that happens in races, and I think a lot of people don't realize this. You see right here, as you were saying, Wesley's making this big move, and you see Roman Tiger moving with him. A lot of times, when this happens in a race, the horse, like Roman Tiger, he takes off on his own with the horse moving outside of him. It is very hard to restrain a horse in this situation. A, you may end up in a jackpot, but B, the horse himself takes you there, and there's Roman Tiger, as you said, right on the lead where he didn't want to be.
Right, so it's almost Wesley with Prado aboard went after him and forced the pace here.
Yeah, and let's just turn our attention from him. He makes the lead too soon, no doubt. We're going to stop it here. There's the 4, Gioponte, the favorite who finished 2nd. Right behind him is the eventual winner, Court Vision. A 2-horse race, but the rider Alan Garcia on Gioponte, I think, gets himself into a package here, trying too much to be cute and save ground, while Court Vision is unencumbered outside. I don't care that he's losing more ground, that Garcia saved some ground. Look where Gioponte is, and there's Court Vision with a full head of steam. And yeah, I know, Gioponte gets clear, as you'll see, and he gets close to him, but to me, he allowed Court Vision to get the momentum and get the jump.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And, we talked before the race, we both kind of like Court Vision, especially at the odds that he was at. A lot of people that I talked to before this race thought that Court Vision was going to need to go longer than the mile and an eighth. Something that, a lot of people kind of gets to me, where Court Vision, he's a horse that likes to come from off the pace, comes from deep in the pack, and people thought that, the horse needs more ground. A lot of the time when you see a horse that comes from the back, if they shorten up, it'll really heighten the burst that they have in the stretch. And this horse pedigree is more of a mile, 9 furlong horse. So I think they're talking about stretching him out for the Breeders' Cup Turf. I mean, this horse is a dead bet against if he goes 12 furlongs in that race.
He'll be 50 to 1 in that race, and he'll be much closer to last than first. I agree with you. Gioponte's the better horse. I hope they meet in the Hollywood Derby, and they're similar odds. Gioponte will beat him. We will move on to the Rosette, which actually was 2 races later in the card, and we're just going to talk about some things in general. And the favorite in this race is number 5, Persistently, in the Phipps colors, and of course, she drops back to last, as she so often does. We're just going to focus in on her for a second. You'll see her. She's 2nd to last, drops back to last. Actually, the eventual winner is inside of her, who broke a step slowly in here, but had a very good trip after that. And what I felt about this race was Persistently was compromised by when she tries to make her move, she's trying to make it inside.
Yeah, going into this race, I wasn't really that impressed with the horses in here. I thought Persistently might have been one of the best horses in the race, but my take on the race was that one of the horses that had the big maiden score, either Sky Diva or even Royal Ballade, who ended up finishing last, was going to run a big race. Persistently, she's a Phipps horse. A lot of times they like going longer, but she's by Smoke Glacken, and I think that Persistently might want to go a little bit shorter than this race. We'll see what Andy's talking about. She really tries to make the move on the rail and then has to swing out wide. I don't think anyone was going to catch Sky Diva in this race.
I don't know if she's going to catch her. We're going to show Persistently here. Persistently in all of her races has made an outside, unencumbered, wide run, and she has the kind of running style where that's where she wants to run. Now, Alan Garcia, I think it's Alan Garcia is riding her, correct?
Correct.
He is on the outside, and he realizes this point, and I can't blame him. The horses are bearing out. Who knows how far he's going to have to go? So while she's in about the 2.5 or 3 path here, he makes a decision to go inside here. Now, this is not per se a bad move. But as you see, he's hitting her righty and keeping her inside, and he continues to hit her righty, and now he's trying to hit her lefty. At this point, what she needs to do is get herself off of the inside and out into the middle of the racetrack, and it takes him a while to do that. You could argue she had a very good trip, but my point being that while he made a tactical move to save ground, and I can't fault it, I think it took away from her run, because once she gets a head of steam going and she's clear, she's starting to really motor.
Yeah, I think the only horse moving forward that I would bet out of this race probably is Sky Diva, depending on what happens, just because I think she's probably a superior filly. I'd like to see Persistently, come back a little bit. She had a fast pace to run at. I know what you're saying, but I'm not sure I would look for her moving forward.
Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with the Smoke Glacken thing. She'll probably show up in the Demoiselle. I still think Persistently deserves another chance against these type of horses. Sky Diva's 2 for 2. We'll see. I'm still going to say that next year, Persistently is going to prove one of the better 3-year-old fillies in the country. We'll see. We'll move on to the Champagne, a race that may have the best dirt 2-year-olds now in the country. Certainly seems to be this was a tremendous race, and take nothing away from the winner, Vineyard Haven.
Now we're going to see here Ventana is a horse that was really bet heavily, a Baffert horse coming off of a big debut, and I thought this was one of the worst trips that I've actually ever seen. Victor Espinoza flew in from California, and I wish he hadn't. The horse breaks slowly here, Ventana, you see in the red on the outside. He's going to try and rush this horse up once here, going to be steadied big. You're going to see him just pull on the brakes. Right here, Espinoza's pulling on the brakes, so he has to move him back, and we're going to see he does it again. I don't know why he couldn't just try and let this horse settle. So he did it once, and now once again he's going to bring this horse up. Horse has to tap on the brakes again. And then in a little bit, we're going to see Ventana then makes a huge 5-wide middle move moving into the turn. I just thought it was a terrible trip. The horse ended up finishing last, but 3 different things that happened in the race to this horse really led to that, and I think this horse is going to run a big race next time.
Yeah, he was rushed into this race, as for a number of these, off a nice maiden win very, very early in the meet. And clearly, even though, as you say, he finished last, enough things happened to him that this race is very easily dismissible. He's moving up 5 wide here. Another horse that I wanted to take a look at this race is just appearing in the picture, and that's Gone Astray, another Phipps horse. And I appear to be pandering to these McGahee Phipps horses, but I'm not. I think Gone Astray is a nice horse. We're going to show him right here. And what happens is he's making a move outside of horses, and he is the one closer that does running. But right in here, not dissimilar in a way to Persistently, he realizes he can't make the move outside, and he's forced to sort of steady there and alter course, and ducks all the way over to the inside, as you can see here. That really cost him momentum and cost him in move, in my opinion.
Yeah, when you talk about a horse being behind a wall of horses, you'll hear Durkin say that. In this horse, that was the definition right there.
And he is the only horse in this race that closed any ground. Now, some of it was because the winner was a superior horse and nobody was beating him in this race. But some of it is because a horse like this had trouble. Horses made early moves. I think Gone Astray is a little bit better than this race shows, and just the fact that he was able to pick it up a little bit at the end, maybe he'll too go in the Remsen and be the horse to beat.
Yeah, I would agree. I think to play devil's advocate a little bit, Munings and Cribnote kind of chased the pace. They still finished 2-3. It was a pretty fast pace. Gone Astray, I think, maybe could have gotten up for second or third had he a little more kick, but I do agree that he's going to be a horse to look out for moving forward.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him. Anyway, that does it for this week's Trips and Traps. I want to thank Dan for helping out here. And once again, that email address, tripsandtraps@nairainc.com. Please send us your emails. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Give us some races to use. We could use the help. Thanks again.